think, across the globe. Yeah, again, welcome Rachit to our Auckland Power Platform user group. So we have been running this in Auckland for almost 4 years now successfully. Great speakers across the globe, and so it's a part of ongoing upskilling and so many other activities. I think the housekeeping rules, just a basic, please mute, and in case if you want to ask, raise your hands. And also, like, we'll be sharing the decks, I believe, at later stage from Rachit. And then again, there are various groups within New Zealand. So again, it's a privilege and honor to have Rachit here. So these are the links. I will post it through the chat while Rachit is presenting. So we got Rami and Hamish, and everyone has supportive, and we all know each other. So that's the basic. And today the star of the show is Rachit. So he's a technical architect and also like having a 2 decade of experience with Dynamics 365 F101 Power Platform. Obviously, the Copilot Studio is a new star within this area. And obviously, I will hand over to Rachit and Jiva. Do you want to add anything else?
No, I'm good. People are excited to let Chit talk. So I think I'll shut my mouth.
All right, cool. Thank you, Rachit. Over to you.
All right. Thanks, Jiva, and thanks, Raghavan, for the introduction. I'll just share my screen and then the session. Let me know when you can see. Um,
Not yet.
yeah, loading. Is it visible now?
Yep.
Cool. All right, so welcome, guys. Thank you for joining us today. We will be talking about how we can transform user experience for Dynamics 365 Finance and Operations app using Copilot Studio. Just a quick introduction about myself. So I basically, first of all, want to thank Auckland Power Platform User Group leaders for putting this event together. These community sessions are really impactful where the magic happens, and it's more about learning, sharing, creating platform for people to share their learnings and learn from each other. So I basically carry almost 20 years of experience delivering Dynamics 365 Finance and Operation, previously known as Exapta, and recently Power Platform space as well. So I've seen from AX 3.0 all the way to agentic AI now. So I've seen it, built it, broken it, fixed it. I'm also a TOGAF certified enterprise architect, which basically means I can talk about enterprise architecture without putting you to sleep. I'm based in Melbourne for last 12 years. I live here with my wife and two amazing kids. One is 10, and she's already teaching me how to play Roblox. And the other one is 1, so I'm basically moonlighting as a part-time diaper dispenser and toy mechanic. And a little milestone to share, I have recently launched my own company, iSpire Solutions, with a clear vision of helping customers get real business value by adding AI capabilities to their Dynamics landscape. And as you have known, I've spent most of my time in Melbourne, and we take three things very seriously here: footy, unpredictable weather, and coffee. So Melbourne coffee culture is which made me stick to Melbourne. And it's so serious that if you ask for an instant coffee, you can basically get a deportation. So let's get started with the session. What we will do is we will cover the AI capabilities in the platform, a brief introduction of what type of Copilot capabilities exist outside finance and operations, which is Copilot for Finance, the Outlook and Excel experience. Then how we can use a Copilot Studio to build new experience for the user. And from a technical perspective, how we can develop AI plugins using X++ programming language and Dataverse APIs. And we will touch base with MCP Server as well, which Microsoft recently released for finance and operations. So The AI capabilities in finance and operations. Let me quickly, I think, share this one. Just a minute. Um, stop sharing this one. Yeah. So basically, if we talk about the agentic experience where we are today, the vision of Microsoft is to transform the business application landscape into a agentic uh, platform, which means that most of the day-to-day tasks, simple tasks, which we have been doing by logging into system, creating new records or uploading a file, or these things can be automated and the agents can work together with the users to do the business processes. So that's the whole idea. And as you can see, the whole agentic experience uh, stack is here. So finance and operation is part of the Dynamics 365 umbrella here, but not only Dynamics, the Copilot Studio and the whole platform can talk to your Microsoft 365 layer and your Fabric layer. So it's all coming together cohesively using the ERP agent foundation powered by Copilot Studio, and we can build experiences on top of it. So what's in FNO? In FNO, we have Copilot for Finance, which is basically the Outlook and Excel experience, which is built outside the application. Then we have Copilot in Finance, which comes as a part of the application. And Copilot in Finance itself has different, I would say, patterns, ways of infusing AI in the application. So you can see Copilot-based summaries, which was the starting point of infusing Copilot capabilities. And then it evolved into a workspace experience where you can actually look at the impact of your purchase orders if your supply has been disrupted, or there is a collection coordinator workspace where you can actually infuse AI to draft an email to send a collection letter advice to your customer. Then came a sidecar experience, which enabled you to chat with a Copilot while being in the application. But over the last 5 or 6 months, I would say it has gone to the next level where the immersive experience and agentic experiences have been built into the application, which is things like supplier communication agent and account reconciliation agents have been brought into preview by Microsoft. And these are really triggering the thought process of, wow, how we can build the whole end-to-end business process using agents. So this is really, I would say, a, f- a segue into the future where partners and customers can build similar experience using the agents. So I will show what these are and how we can take our thought forward. A bit of an introduction about Copilot for Finance. So Copilot for Finance is basically an Excel and Outlook based experience. What it does is it allows you to quickly do simple things. So for example, in Outlook, you can add a contact to a customer. So when an email is opened, it will check the email address of the sender and it will populate all the relevant information on the sidecar. And you can basically see, okay, this contact is for this particular customer, which are the open invoices. You can update things like settlement date or some notes against an invoice. So it helps you to avoid navigating back and forth between application and Outlook. In Excel, you can actually do variance analysis, reconciliations by pulling data from ERP, doing it in the Excel, and then pushing it back. And these Copilot for Finance capabilities, they can actually work with multiple ERPs. So not only just finance and operation, they can actually work with Business Central and they can also work with SAP. So this is a high level architecture of how the Copilot for Finance work. So it's in Excel experience and Outlook experience. And you basically have to install it through your admin center, and then the administrator can give permissions. However, if you have the right license, you can install it for yourself as well. But behind the scene is this whole service layer, which is hidden under the hood, which talks to different ERPs. So it can actually also talk to your custom ERP, which to be honest, I haven't explored, but with finance and operation, it can connect, pull data, and you can do your reconciliations. It also talks to Office using MS Graph. and it also talks to OpenAI, which is basically the core where all the magic is happening. So I won't be spending much time in Copilot for Finance because it itself is like it can go very deep. But this is just a high level of how the Copilot for Finance is built. Also, it's good to call out that this is not a part of your Dynamics license. So it's a separate license which you need to buy if you have to use Copilot for Finance. Moving forward, Copilot in Finance is basically what you get as a part of your Dynamics 365 Finance and Operation licenses. So you don't have to pay to use it, like to get access to it. But yeah, once you will start using it, things like supplier communication agent or account reconciliation agent may incur additional cost because it depends on the number of messages you are using under the hood for these agents. That's a separate conversation, but just to be mindful and just to call out that as a part of license, you get this, but when you use it, you might incur additional cost. Currently, these things are all in preview mode, so there is no cost for now. But once they get generally available, there will be costs. So I would highly recommend while they are in preview, take them for a ride and get your knowledge built on these things. So I'll breeze through these experiences in the application and then we will jump into the demo. Uh, a bit of a high level architecture of how the summary feature works. So what happens is everything is layered through Dataverse. So from finance and operations, data is passed to Dataverse, and from Dataverse, it calls Azure OpenAI. So actually, there is a bit of a hop happening here. So as you can see on the right-hand side, these are the different let me take a pointer. So these are different type of summarization capabilities in the product. As you can see, the list is quite long, almost 12 different areas where there are summarization happening. So when you open a sales order or a purchase order or a product, it basically shows you a summary of it. So how it actually works is there are X++ classes. So just to give you a quick glimpse, what I'll do is I'll show you one thing. So so this I am opening X++ classes. So how the summarization work is. So basically there are let's say this is for vendor. So there is a service class, there is a data provider class. So as you will see, what happens in finance and operation is these classes are called, and these classes actually calculate all these values, which are then tagged in a list and sent to Dataverse using I organization service. So this is a little bit technical, but just to give you an idea that all these, whatever is getting summarized is first calculated in finance and operation using X++. So as you see, there is this class which quickly calculates everything. It wraps it up into this service class where it constructs the summary and it basically calls the API of Dataverse. And there is this utility class which basically uses this solution. So what you see here, this is a solution deployed in Power Platform Admin Center for the supply chain management AI capabilities. And using this class in X++, this API is called. And this class, if you look this Dataverse utility class in finance and operations, is actually utilizing organization service to call. So here it initializes a new organization request, and here it basically calls the service to execute that request. So this is all packed information is collected, packed from finance and operations, sent to Dataverse. And once it goes to Dataverse, then there is a plugin in Dataverse which calls OpenAI. And that plugin then generates the summary and returns it back to finance and operation. And it shows you. Now, it may sound a lot is happening, but basically it happens very fast and it happens asynchronously. So it doesn't impact the time which your screen takes to load. It happens asynchronously and it actually happens really fast under the hood. Uh, Moving on to workspaces. So there are workspaces within finance and operations which have uh, AI-based impact assessment done here. So for example, there is a confirmed purchase order with changes workspace, which basically tells you if your purchase order receiving is impacted, then how would your supply chain be disrupted? So this was also released in early days. I'll show you in finance and operations how it looks. So in finance and operations, when we go to workspaces, there is a workspace for just give me a minute, confirm purchase orders with changes. So this is the workspace. So what happens is when this workspace is,
Agnes. Kalau gitu ya.
sorry, yeah, yeah. So basically this workspace is loading. What it does do is it tells you what are the impacted purchase orders by impacted sales orders. Uh, if a purchase order has changed. So basically it identifies the low impact, high impact, and downstream impacted orders. Now, this is good for people who are into supply chain and planning space because they can actually check if my this purchase order is impacted, then this item is has changed the quantity from 1100 to 1000, which means these are my marking in the production orders which may get impacted. So this is a type of experience where AI is actually identifying how your supply chain is getting disrupted, if something is changing, and it will calculate and show. Again, same pattern. Everything is calculated via X++ code, wrapped, sent to Dataverse. Dataverse calls OpenAI. It summarizes and it shows here. Again, this was released pretty early on when AI capabilities were introduced to the product. So I would say it's not new in the product. So most of the people are aware of this capability. Moving on, then came the evolution of sidecar, which is where you have a sidecar working as a co-pilot for you, where you can actually talk about where I am, what's the data, and it is evolving. I would say it still is not too fancy out of the box, but it is evolving. People are giving lot of feedback to Microsoft. And this is where you can actually build extensions in this particular chatbot. So when we say we can extend Copilot, which is shipped with finance and operation, we are actually extending this sidecar here. How it works is basically same pattern. Finance and operation is integrated with Dataverse using Power Platform integration. And then this Dataverse, where here we expose Dataverse APIs, we have request parameters, response parameters, and plugins which talk to OpenAI and Copilot Studio. So everything is channeled through Dataverse. So uh, you will see and feel that how important Dataverse has become for finance and operation if we have to build such capabilities. Uh, uh, so this is about sidecar. We will do deep dive in some time as we move forward. But the AI experience is not only sitting in the FNO screens, right? It's finance and operation is an application which has different UIs. It has a POS UI, commerce UI, you have production floor execution UI, you have warehousing mobile app. So Copilot has made its way in those areas also. So here we can see in commerce on the point of sale screen, we have Copilot based insights for the customer, their purchasing patterns, what type of questions you can ask to the customer, and there is a bit of a summarization of their past history. So this gives salespeople a very good perspective of their customers, which can help them talk in a much better way to their customers and probably increase sales. Uh, there is also Copilot in demand planning application and warehouse mobile. So I'll quickly show you how this experience look like. In the warehouse mobile app, uh, there is a new capability introduced. And again, this is a little bit old. It's not pretty new, but it is evolving. So this is a warehousing mobile app of finance and operation. And basically what we can do is if you go into, just a minute, if you go back, maybe, sorry, I'll just go back to home. It's just not loading properly. Let me open it again. Uh, it will actually show you the summary of the work, which is for that logged in user. So if I log in as a user, I will be able to see what work lines are assigned to me and what is the status of different work lines across the warehouse where I'm logged in. Uh, because this warehouse mobile app also uses X++ under the hood, it has been recently re-architected in React.js. So basically, it uses the same pattern. It uses X++ to collect the data, send it to Dataverse, send it to OpenAI, summarizes it, brings it back. Same pattern. It has been also in the market for quite some time, but just wanted to call out that Copilot capabilities in finance and operations exist outside ERP UI as well. In terms of demand planning, now this is an application which is part of supply chain premium license. So if you have to use demand planning application, which comes as a Power Platform solution and it talks to finance and operations, it needs a supply chain premium license. But I'll just show you some really cool stuff here. So what it does is it basically, again, at a high level, I'm not too deep into this space, but basically it pulls all your sales forecast, it generates a future forecast, and then you can basically push it back to finance and operation. So it's basically doing a demand planning using some predefined algorithms which Microsoft has released. So in this case, I'm opening a forecast which is generated by the application. So as you can see, this is the forecast which is generated. The forecast is here, and this forecast is based on this data. So where is Copilot? Copilot is actually everywhere. So here you will see a generative insights, which is created by Copilot of basically a summary of what we are seeing here. But as we move in this graph, you will see a little Copilot icon here. So if we click on this, we can actually see how this particular value has been derived and what were the shifts between a particular period which actually created this data. So here, this is not just a summary. This is a really detailed information for a planner to see that, wow, they can go very granular with this. So anywhere where you see this dot, you can actually see the shift, the trend, and the outlier. So it gives you really in-depth analysis of how this information is coming. But it doesn't stop here. If you go further, this is a grid where each cell has a value. Now, if you click on any cell, you can click on Copilot here, and it will tell you how that value was calculated, what is the breakdown, what were the composition factors, and if it has been adjusted in the past, then it will show you the adjustment history. So it's actually analyzing a lot on this screen. Uh, Again, it doesn't stop here. There's something more cool. So if I go to Generative Insights and click on View Insights, this is where you will see that all of these insights are driven by Copilot. And this is all generative AI here, which is showing you how 5 different seasonalities have been detected and what is the seasonality pattern. Uh, from a business perspective, it's a great insight because you can see all the different seasonalities across different period. And if you want to go deep into a particular seasonality, you can actually click on it and you can see the demands and how the things have moved. So it's pretty detailed, and all this is generated via AI. So these things are really taking the user experience to next level. And this is where we can now see the impact of AI in business application, not just summarizations and showing you the summary or talking to it. It's actually generating these insights using the data which is in the application. It's all happening. This is a model-driven app for demand planning in Power Platform. It is, yeah, I think it is generally available now. So if you need to access it, you need a supply chain premium license. So this was about the warehousing and the demand planning application. Now let me go to the next section, which is the new agentic capabilities, which I talked about. The agentic capabilities introduced in the platform for supplier communication agent and then account reconciliation agent. So supplier communication agent is basically a new agentic experience which will help the purchasing team to follow up on purchase order, speed up the communication, and it actually can also uh, detect the incoming emails from your suppliers and put that information into your ERP system with a draft email where you can review and send. I forgot to mention, I've put some small pictures of Auckland on various slides just to keep the to get some attention. So what is supplier communication agent? It's basically an agentic experience in your procure to pay business process. So what happens in a typical procure to pay is once the purchase order is sent to vendor, you would like to follow up with vendor that the purchased goods are coming on time. You receive a confirmation or a PO may change, and then you follow up on a delayed order. So wherever you see this human brain with artificial wheels, it's basically AI is coming into picture. So supplier communication agent is now spread across these processes. And worth to mention, it's not just one agent, it's a collection of multiple agents, Dataverse APIs, Power Automates, which are working together to do this experience. So here for the follow-up, supplier communication agent can draft an email. It can automatically summarize the changes in your workspace, and you can also create a follow-up email. I'll show you in the system how it looks, but just a high-level view of the architecture. So whenever an email is received from a supplier, basically what we do is sometimes we have a dedicated email address like accounts payable at xyz.com or procurement at contoso.com. So we actually enable it in Dataverse that the mailbox get read by the Dataverse. So once the Dataverse server-side sync is enabled, any email which comes from any email address to this particular email will get extracted via AI. This is a Power Automate and Copilot Studio running to basically extract the email information and then segment it and categorize it and put it in an email staging table. And there is a new custom table in finance and operation where this data is also pushed. And then there is the email matching and mapping algorithm, which basically identifies the purchase order lines which are impacted, and then it basically generates the data in these tables, which you can view on the supplier communication agent workspaces. And in terms of outbound, it basically there is a recurrence running, which checks which purchase order needs to be followed up. So this here is happening in Dataverse, and this on the right side is happening in finance and operations. So there is a close synchronization happening. So these are all lines are basically Power Automates are running here. So they identify which orders need to be followed up, and they identify the details. They generate a draft email, and then you see that draft email in the system. I'll quickly cover this installations slide as well. So in order for this to do, this is very important. You have to enable a server side in synchronization with your incoming emails. So the whole a particular mailbox needs to be synchronized with a Dataverse. And then basically there are some prerequisites to be taken care of. I won't read all of that, but I'll quickly jump into system and show you the supplier communication agent experience. So once you have installed, what you can do is this is the new immersive home experience in finance and operations. You actually have to enable the agent by going to view agents, and here you can see which agents are running. So in my case, I have here you will see is send follow-up emails to supplier communication agent, then speed up updates in purchase order. So these are different areas of the supplier communication agent. So manage is the one which are active. So these are running in this instance. Library is the ones which I haven't enabled yet. Once you enable, basically you can actually define the criteria. So here you can define that, okay, when any supplier or you want specific supplier about and send the email to which particular email address. Similarly, for sending follow-up communication, here you can actually go pretty deep and say, okay, which purchase order you want to follow on. You want to follow per purchase order or supplier, what type of tone you want to keep. And this is the important part. It will allow you to specify which fields you need to include in the response. So here you can actually select, and it's more of a configuration, which fields you want to include in the response email and what is the criteria. So this is also pretty cool because here you can define which purchase orders you want to be included when this agent is running. So you can see there is a bit of a configuration which users can also do from their side, which gets fed into these agents. So this is pretty good way of configuring things. How it looks is you will see here agent activity. So in this case, there was a purchase order which was delayed. I received an email. I just sent it to a contact, and then basically the agent picked it, and it is showing you that the change has been detected from your purchase order, and it is detecting a change that your uh, original value was 100 pieces, but now you will only get 30 pieces. And for this line, original was 50, you will get only 10 pieces. And it has created this email. Sorry, and this was the email which was received, by which it has actually inferred all these things. You can also basically uh, uh, edit things here. So basically you can apply suggestions, which basically goes into the taught item. From a technical perspective, what happens is when you install this, and if you go to your Copilot Studio, you will see agents there. So if I click on agents, I'll just show you how big this supplier communication agent solution is. And just to drive the thought process that it's not only one Copilot agent which is doing everything, it's a collection of multiple things. So here you will see there is a supplier communication agent inbound, supplier communication agent outbound. So there are two instances, two different Copilot uh, agents which are working. So supplier communication agent inbound is the one which is keeping an eye on your incoming mailbox. Now, if I go to Power Platform, just a minute, solutions. I need to just drag this thing here. In Power Platform Admin Center, we will be able to see these solutions. So it comes as a part of Finance AI. So if I go to Finance AI solution, here you will be able to see that there are altogether 121 components which are making this supplier communication agent in Dataverse. I'm not talking about X++ code, which is sitting in FNO, but basically you will see there are two agents, account reconciliation agent and inbound and outbound. Then there are 16 flows. So these are Power Automate flows, which are basically doing different activities. All these Power Automate flows you can actually see in your Power Automate automates when you see. It comes with 13 custom APIs in Dataverse, which are basically checking a lot of things. And then for each API, you have to define the request and response parameters. So they are sitting here. There is a security role, which is a part of account reconciliation agent. So this needs to be granted to the user. And then there are two custom tables, which stores the events and which stores the voucher summary data. So just to give you a high level view that it's not only the Copilot agent, it's a collection of multiple things. So I'll quickly show you also in the Power Automate how it looks. I'm just being mindful of time. We have some time. Okay, so where have I? Okay, so if I go to my flows, here you will see all the account reconciliation flows are running here. So there is a different flow to speed up purchase orders, and you can go into these flows and you can analyze them, and you can see how they have been done. So, and these are great patterns you can pick ideas from. This is how Microsoft has done. So there might be few things good, few things you may not like about it, but basically you can see what this Power Automate is doing and how Microsoft has done. And here you will see that this Power Automate is running at a recurrence. It's extracting the email, and then it's actually calling a Copilot. This is where it is calling the Copilot. So Power Automate is calling Copilot, it's returning a result, and then it basically goes further into further conditions. So you can always, once you install, you can look into these Power Automates and understand how it is done here. You will also see a history here when it was run. So it was run 17 seconds ago. Yeah, so this is about the supplier communication agent. Next thing I want to quickly cover is the accounts reconciliation agent, which is also released recently. And also this is in preview. So because it's in preview, Microsoft won't charge you while you test it or use it, but once it becomes GA, they will be charged. So again, test drive it before it becomes GA. So account reconciliation agent is basically an agent which is sitting into your record to report business process. So as a part of record to report business process, this is L1 view, and these are all our L2 views. And it is sitting here in the reconciliation ledger and subledger. So what this agent can actually do is it can reconcile and find out anomalies in your ledger versus subledger, and it can flag those. It can help you to reverse those things. So these are some of the capabilities of the agent. Also, there are workspaces. So prior to this, you would run a SSRS report, which was time consuming, and then it's a report. So you just have to go back to the system to do the things. But with this feature, you can actually do a lot of things from the UI directly. So the account reconciliation agent will reconcile things across banks, AP, AR tax, and it will help you to identify the exceptions and deal with them. Just a bit of a timeline. It is currently in private preview. We are in July. We are somewhere here. In 2025, it is in 46. It's gonna be generally available. We are currently on version 44. Version 45 is available in private preview now. So before we hit GA in 46, maybe it's a good opportunity to turn it on in your test environment and test drive these. And it has a roadmap as well shared by Microsoft. So I picked it from one of the fast track videos. So there will be some automations coming into the account reconciliation workspace. I'll quickly jump back into the application and show you how the account reconciliation looks. So here it's enabled. It found some exceptions. I'll just show you how it looks. So basically, in this scenario, it was updated 41 minutes ago, and it has found 11 exceptions, and 108 transactions have been reconciled for this period. And here you can see what all exceptions have been found. So where is AI? AI is actually doing all this for you and telling you. So this is not like a AI based screen, but all the data coming here is generated by AI. So here you can see we have 11 exceptions here, and if I can click here, it will take me to those exceptions, and it will tell me that, okay, this particular voucher or this transaction is in ledger but not in subledger. And then what I can do is I can actually either reverse it from here directly, and I can put a reason and it will reverse the transaction, or I can create a journal entry with a reason. So this is where the experience has improved. You don't have to run a SSRS report and come back and find the transaction and do a reversal. You can get a central view of all the exceptions found in your reconciliation. Similarly, you can mitigate exceptions from here, from all the open exceptions. Yeah, you can accept it without change also, because there could be a business reason to do it. So this is just a quick overview of account reconciliation agent. Similar pattern for account reconciliation agent. If you go to your Power Platform solutions, you will find that there are account reconciliation agents. So these all are the Power Automates, and these all are there are two Copilot agents for account reconciliation and agent and the amount, but these two are the Copilot agent. Um, so yeah, you can install it, go to Copilot Studio, go to agents, and look at these account reconciliation agents, which you can find in the list. So these are the two account reconciliation agents which are part of the solution. So you have to install the solution in Power Platform Admin Center, and then they become available in your. So here you will see all the topics which are part of this Copilot. So yeah, I think this is something people can explore. Now I will move to the other interesting part, which is how can we extend finance and operations sidecar using Copilot Studio. So basically, just a high level 360-degree view of what you can do with Copilot Studio is you can actually build your Copilots, you can publish it, you can analyze it, monitor it, improve it, and you can integrate with various AI services. When it comes to finance and operations, again, because we are looking at from finance and operations lens today, where can we embed FNO data and processes and how? So basically, there are different components, or I would say different type of ways to build your Copilot Studio. One of the component is called the knowledge source. So you add new knowledge sources to your Copilot Studio. This is where you can use finance and operations virtual entities. So virtual entities are basically uh, your finance and operations public data entities, which can be exposed as virtual entities in Dataverse, and those virtual entities can be added as knowledge source in Copilot Studio. So if you want to just chat with the data, you can add that as a knowledge source. Then there is another concept of topics. Topics are basically a user has given a prompt and the topic will be triggered based on the closest match. That's where generative AI is also coming into picture, because generative AI can help you match the right topic. So if you want to create a topic which then gets some input from the data, you can actually use a combination of Power Automates, adaptive cards, and finance and operations connector and APIs to do a lot of things. And we can see uh, some examples, like you want to build a Teams app where you want to create a customer or purchase order or purchase requisition. These can be achieved using this combination, using topics. Although with topics, it takes a lot more of maintenance for your Copilot. But again, the modern way is to use actions and plugins. So you can build X++ plugins uh, in FNO, and then you can expose them as Dataverse APIs, and then you can add that as an action in Copilot Studio. Or the latest one is MCP server. So MCP server is basically you just add the server and everything gets plugged into your Copilot. So this is from FNO perspective. I think if this would be the most important slides of this presentation, where you can see which type of FNO things you can use. This is more about you can publish to multiple channels, how you can monitor, and how you can also integrate with other AI services. Another diagram I'm sure a lot of people must have seen. This is just showing how the Copilot Studio and the Dataverse and finance and operations work together. Same pattern, FNO, Dataverse, Copilot Studio. So if you have to create a AI plugin using X++, how do you do that? So basically there are three steps. You have to write a X++ class data contract, which has a business logic in it. And in order for that class to be identified in Dataverse as a custom API, you have to use this interface custom API interface, and you have to use custom API attribute classes to decorate the request response parameters. So there's a bit of X++ development if you have to create your custom AI plugins. Uh, but because Microsoft has already created a lot of such classes, you can actually look at how they have done and you can replicate the same pattern. Now, once this class is developed, you go to Dataverse, and there you have to actually create a custom API. And then in the custom API, you have to add the request parameters, response parameters, and then you also have to make sure you are using the right solution. So this part was when initially Microsoft released, they automated it. So there was a synchronize button on your custom AI uh, plugins screen, and you could this was automated, but then it has been removed just because it was breaking the ALM side of things. So this is manual for now. Once you have done this, then you go to Copilot Studio. And when you go to Copilot Studio, you add a new tool. You select the Microsoft Dataverse connector. You select the perform an outbound action. Then you have to click add. You have to add your API, define input output. So this is still a bit of a configuration which needs to be done if you have to expose your AI plugin in Copilot Studio. Just a quick sample of here. This is a class which is used by the standard Copilot Studio app of Microsoft. So we'll dive into that experience now. And also the MCP server is new. So I'll show you MCP server experience and these AI plugins, and then we'll be open for questions and answers. So basically, let's see what we have done. So in Copilot Studio, what I have done is I have created uh, a new agent for MCP server. First, I'll show you how this is done and how simple it is. So basically what I did is I created a new Copilot Studio, and I have added the MCP server in it. And let me try to find one thing. In fact, I have embedded it in Teams, so I'll show you the Teams experience. So this is a Teams app, which is working with the Copilot Studio, and it is basically using the MCP server. So I was able to do some simple things. So let's say, can you find approved? I'll just repeat this command now. Can you find approved vendors for item 1000? And in the meantime, let's look in FNO who are my approved vendors for item 1000. If we go to product information management, release products. It's loading. Let's look at the teams. See, this one is a bit faster. So it has shown that approved vendors for item number 1000 are these three vendors from this date to this date. Let's find how many items have speaker in their name. Let's see what it will. While it's happening, let's go back. So item 1000, if I go to approved vendors, we can see it has three vendors. So the result is actually correct, which we got from this. So there are 100 items which have a speaker in their name. So if I say list these items, so now you will see I am not, it is actually storing the context of the conversation. It is going to give me list of all the 100 items which have a speaker in their name. So now this is the benefit of using MCP server, because when I will show you how I configured it, it was so slick. So here you have got the list, right? Probability showing more because they were like 104. Now, how to do it is basically you go to your Copilot Studio, create a new Copilot Studio, go to tools, and just add the server. So if I have to create a new one, let's say we create a new agent quickly. Again, just doing it quickly to show you. So I might not be following all the best practices, but I have created a new Copilot agent here without giving much of the context to what I want to do. I go to tools and add a tool. And here we can see model context protocol. And here you will see MCP servers. So you have MCP server for sales, MCP server for service, MCP server for ERP. This is where it talks to your finance and operation. So I'm having a connector and I'm adding it, and that's it. So you will feel that, okay, because I'm using a server, I don't need to add an action, add a topic, take the input, give it to Power Automate. I don't have to do all of that because this MCP server has everything built into it already. So what it gives you the name of the tools which are embedded already in this server. So we can find approved vendors. I can find requisitions. We can find inventory. Now, just a call out, not everything is working seamlessly. There is a lot of feedback which has been gone to Microsoft, but some of these are really working nicely. So I've only added the,
Sorry, Rajat, Guru here. I just have a question. Sorry for
yeah,
jumping in. Being a function consultant, can you please explain me what exactly NCP server is? My head is really spinning now.
yeah. So
Say,
MCP server is basically, think of it as a, like, think of it like a USB port of all the tools and services you can embed into a Copilot Studio. So instead of defining separate APIs, separate agent, tools you add. So like I showed you, if you have to add a custom AI plugin, you have to go through a series of steps. But if
yeah,
you are
okay,
using a MCP server, you don't have to do it. So think of it like a box. It's a,
okay,
people call it like a USB port for uh, your tools and APIs, and not just APIs, it can do much more. There are a lot of tutorials on MCP server. but basically you can create your own MCP server also. So it is technical. I'm not saying that it's purely functional. So you will need developers to build your own MCP server, or if you
Okay.
have to create an AI plugin, you will need developers. As a functional consultant, what you can do is you come here, add a tool, select the MCP server, and then when you click on it, you will be able to see, okay, this MCP server has all these capabilities into it. If you
Okay.
have to build your own MCP server, you need developers. You can embed this MCP server not only in Copilot Studio, but also in other tools like Cloud Desktop, which is for AI as well. So
Okay.
MCP is more of it's a industry-wide standard for building and exposing your functionalities of your application, if that makes sense. But yeah, it's a big topic, Guru. Explaining it in one line is
That's
think
okay.
of
Yeah,
it like a USB port
yeah.
to expose all this. So I
Then
just added it and I have got all these capabilities inside my. Now, if I say here, how many, so you will see how it works here. If I say how many products are in my application. Let's see what it does. So you will see it has started this activity map and it is asking me to allow using this because it's the first time I have added. Now you will see it is going through this server and it is actually reviewing and it needs more context. Let's say how many products are of type service. Maybe it's not yet trained because it's pretty new. But if let's see if it works this time. Otherwise, I'll go back to the agent, which is already working on the MCP server. And we can see how it works. So if I go to this one has been connected for a long time. And if I say how many products have uh, let's say cable this time, cable in the name, because I want to show you how the query looks like. So now it is going through this MCP and it has identified that I need to use this tool. And here you will see what it has actually called. So if I export it out, so from here, let's say I do a copy and I bring it in a notepad and you will see it's basically a raw here, but uh, yeah. But it is actually calling a Dataverse API here. So you'll see it's calling a Dataverse API and it's calling this particular, it's getting this response and it's basically unpacking this response and showing you here that there are 13 products. So even though see in the response, it has got all the product name, but because my question was how many products were there, it has given me 13. And if I say list these, it will understand that I'm talking about this previous question and it will list these products again. So how this is working is basically Dataverse APIs are coming into picture. Now, Guru, as I said, it's a bit more technical. What I did is actually I went ahead and downloaded these plugin and I've decompiled them. So there is basically all these DLL files which we can actually now see how Microsoft has done it, and I have exported them into a DLL which I can use to see how it is working. But basically, it's calling Dataverse APIs under the hood. Another example I did for this demo was on how to add a knowledge source. So basically, I created a licensing agent guide. So what you can do is you create a new Copilot Studio, go to knowledge, and you can actually add different knowledge sources. This is where you can actually say, I can go and add a Dataverse as a knowledge source. And because your finance and operations APIs are exposed as virtual entities, you can actually access them here. So if I say my vendors, for example, you will see all these vendor transactions, all these entities. This is more FNO like when trans BI entities available. You can actually add it to your agent and you can ask questions about it. I have an agent where I have added it. I'll show that. In this particular case, what I did is I uploaded the licensing guide, the latest licensing guide of April 2025. And now I can ask questions and say, okay, let's say what license type is uh, needed for BOM approvals. So if this is pretty like common questions when you are responding to RFPs, that what type of license is needed for a particular type of workflow approval. So now it's scanning through my guide and it will tell you to approve BOM, you need an enterprise license. And it will tell you where from the license it has, from the guide it has picked it. and it is showing you that here for approving BOM, you need an enterprise license. So these are some examples where Copilot Studio can make your life a bit easy by simplifying these type of complex tasks where you have to go through a lot of things. Um, yeah, I think uh, we are coming towards the end of the time. So just the last thing which I want to show is basically there is a lot of good collection by our community experts and MVPs and Microsoft guys. So here are some videos which you can actually watch. So I have embedded these in this slide. So from Jared Hall, he has given great demo. There is a supplier communication agent deep dive, accounts reconciliation agent demo is there. Then Kasun gave a good session with Eliza on how to use Copilot Studio with FNO. And Subhashish, MVP based in India, has also shown a good demo of how to use Copilot Studio to create new topics and use it with Power Automate. So I would, yeah, encourage people to watch all these videos on LinkedIn, on YouTube, and build up their learning in this space. With that, I'll open up for Q&A and thank you for listening to me. I hope I haven't bored you much. Over to you, Ragwan. If there are any
Yeah,
questions, happy to take them. Yeah.
great session, Rachit. I think it's very useful and insightful. I think there is a question on the chat from Sai.
Yeah.
You want me to read it out, or you can see that?
Yeah, I can see that. Do we extend standard Copilot and additional functionality from our site? For example, I want to extend vendor Copilot service and extra modification. Is it possible? So yes, it is actually possible. I will just quickly show you. Basically, when you install your finance and operations, in the agents, you will see a Copilot for finance and operations app here. So if you click on Copilot for finance and operations app, this is basically the sidecar experience which comes within the application. So this is extensible. You can actually add more to it. So you can add more knowledge source, you can add your tools, you can use your agents. So you can basically extend it the way you want, but then just be you have to follow the ALM side of Power Platform. So this is the standard Copilot chat bar experience app, which you can see here. And then there are a lot of global variables also which are available. So it can tell you the user context, it can tell you the current page where you are into from the navigation app. It is a little bit tricky because if you are on the address form, it will pick the dev party address as the table. But yeah, you can do this extension. If you have any specific question, feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn side. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any further questions, guys? Well, Rachit is here.
Thanks for all the appreciation. Yeah.
Rajit Rutia. So we are majorly on the ISV part. So we do the for ISV development, and our products are already in there on the market. So for this one, if you want to go for any additional licensing or how we'll do it, because definitely all of the agents, whatever developed by Microsoft, we cannot use. We have to use our own agents.
Yeah.
And
Correct.
so what are the extra licensing we need to take it?
Yes, you will need Copilot Studio license to develop new Copilot agents. Uh, and then, yeah, if your solution is utilizing Power Automates and Dataverse APIs, then you need to have access to those things as well. But as you said rightly, we cannot extend the supplier communication agent or the account reconciliation agent because they are released as managed solution. So we can't modify them. But we can add more to the Copilot for finance and operation app, but you will need license for sure. Yeah.
Okay. And we can build our own tools also.
Yep, you can build your own tools. And again, Copilot Studio is one platform. You can use Azure AI Foundry. You can use any other AI platform as well. MCP is a generic concept. If you have built your own MCP server, you can plug it into any uh, AI platform.
Okay. Okay. Thanks.
So do you usually host your MCP server in Azure? So that is your recommendation?
Being a Microsoft guy, we would host it there.
I see. I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank
Cool.
you. Thank you, Rachit. I think it's on time. And again, thank you, everyone. It's an absolute pleasure. I think Rachit has shared an excellent insight about Dynamics 365 F1 Copilot, which is a great way of like understanding the AI area. Again, thank you
Yeah.
everyone for sharing and attending this session. I know it's a busy schedule everywhere in the globe, and thank you again.
Yeah.
Keep in
Thanks,
touch. I
Thanks,
think,
everyone.
everyone.
yeah, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
Thank you,
Thank you, man.
Raghavan. Thank you,
Bye.
Jeevan,
Thank
for
you.
organizing the
Thank
session.
you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Yeah. Bye.